Hello and welcome to IRL FP here for round 10 in Italy. Or actually no, it's round 11, my bad. Here for round 11 in Italy. Once again today I'm joined by Ollie Flavel.
Hello.
Of course Monza, plenty of overtaking opportunities. Pretty much every corner, into every corner there's an overtaking opportunity. So certainly shouldn't be short of overtakes here today as the two alphas go out together. Looks very similar to F1, but this isn't F1, this is FP. They are not teammates. Today, of course, last week Matthew wrapped up the driver's title by taking the win and becoming the first repeat winner of this season. Obviously he beat Lewis Curtis to the title last week it was. This week though, something different on the line, which is the constructor's title, which if he can outscore Nino and Rocco Walsh by 7 points today, he will seal the constructors, and then for the last round in Bahrain he'll be able to fully relax. So yeah, that is certainly a possibility today. Obviously he has to outscore them by 7 points, and it's 2 against 1 as well, which isn't in Matthew's favour. But looking through the times just early on, 9.2 from Ross Dennon. Of course, Red Bull certainly helping out with that. Nino Romanello in the Ferrari, good lap, was a 19.4. Matthew putting it in his third was a 19.7, the last person in the 19s. And then Jared Fosbury in fourth is a 20.1. Rocco Walsh very close in fifth, and then Adrian Villarreal, who actually became the F2 champion last week as well. So 2 champions crowned last week in Canada. Of course, he beat Jared Fosbury to the F2 title, and he has nothing to lose in this tier, so he'll be able to just go for it for the last few rounds. Just gonna get this up. As I think it was, I think Tim Mercedes set a lap. He did, as he invalidates this in lap there. So he's going to be going back to the pits anyway, not really going to make much of an effect on him. Lewis Curtis is going through Ascari at the moment. He's going to be looking to set a good lap time, certainly hasn't set a time at the moment as he slides through the exit of Ascari, and well, that's going to be an invalidation and not going to be helping him out at all. The Mercedes of RV setting a lap recently enough, I think there, 23.9. Of course, a new driver, new to league racing as well, I'm fairly sure. So he's still trying to kind of get used to the game, certainly as well, and also get used to league racing. Lewis Curtis had to abort his lap, of course, after invalidating. Paco Suarez is going to be looking to improve his time as he goes through the final corner. Really got to take the exit quite wide, get on the power as early as you can see, using all that exit curb, and now up to the run on the line. We'll see, he's currently in a Renault, so P4 for Paco Suarez and 19.9 into the 19s. The top 4 only people to get into the 90s at the moment, and good position for Paco Suarez at the moment. Is actually instantly beaten by, who was that, someone, oh yeah, Cameron Young, going pole position there was a 19.1, only just beating Ross Denham, but certainly beating him nonetheless, and he'll be happy with that.
Speaking of Ross Denham, I was just watching his lap there, and he invalidated going into Ascari, so he'll be going into the pits to put on a new set of boots. As well as Bavesi in the Racing Point invalidating his lap earlier on the lap, speeding to the pit as you go. But I think we've got a few drivers out on a lap still. We've got a Ferrari, that is Roman Nino, coming up to the line, I believe. Oh, he's invalidated though out of the last corner.
I think the next person to be setting a lap will be Tim Mercedes, who's on his out lap. The rest are on in laps at the moment, so going to be a little bit of waiting time between now and the end of, well, between now and the next lap really, not the end of quali, but...
Oh, he's validated. Oof. course, the Ferrari-powered cars here. Monza will be at extreme disadvantage, of course, being the temple of speed. That is Monza. We won't be seeing much overtaking unless they've got like a quadruple slipstream today, Kevin. So, what car would you like to be in, and who should we keep an eye out for this race?
Well, I mean, I'd like to be in the Merc if I was driving today, but expecting to do well. Actually, Matt Romano racing today. I'm not sure if he races or has raced every race, or like maybe he joined recently. Regardless, he's here today, which is nice to see. Of course, not setting a lap in quali as usual, but to be doing well here today. Matthew Walder is always going to be one who you're going to put to do well. Cameron Young, he's got the backing of Renault Power in that car as well, so he's certainly going to be at a bit of an advantage. And Adrian Villarreal, I mean, certainly a bit of confidence, I think, from winning the F2 title. I think they're the ones really to watch today. Other people, I think, will be a little too far off by their car mainly.
I've just been going on board of Tim Brusalen's, of course, as he hop, skips and jumps over the chicane, where Sebastian Vettel, of course, had that infamous crash with Lewis Hamilton in 2018, going through Lesbian 1, nice flip to the inside curb, heading up to Lesbian 2. You want to keep an eye on the inside corner there, as it can spin you out and put you into the one on the right hand side, opening Zero nicely as he powers down this next Zero straight. A little bit of elevation change, go down here underneath the bridge, making sure you spot your DRS, your braking point, and making sure you don't invalidate the inside. Nice line there from Tim Brusalen's as he comes on the throttle slightly, manages to keep the car stable going over the bump out of the exit of the Scari. Now heading towards the parabolic curve. It's a long right-hander. You've got to pick your throttle point, flip the inside curve nice and easy. A little bit of grass as well for good measure. Running the car nice and wide, come back and cuts down towards the pillar, so short as possible. Across the line to go 10th fastest on the Ferrari.
Yeah, certainly won't be liking that too much. I'm sure he would have much rather to be 11th rather than 10th. Maybe Lewis Curtis will be able to do that, as actually he's starting lap at the moment as he crosses the line, opening up the DRS, of course, as he's going to be going through turn 1 in a few moments. I thought someone improved there, but I think that was wrong. But of course, Lewis Curtis anyway, going through turns 1 and 2. Looks like quite nice, of course. One of the quicker ones, one of the more skilled ones, you can say, in this FP tier. Of course, amplified by the fact he is in that Alfa Romeo, as going through the second chicane now. And then the two lesbians, Lesbian 1 and Lesbian 2. Gotta get a really nice exit out of here to really set yourself up, because the run down to Ascari is quite long, and it's really gonna affect your speed all the way down through to here, as it's gonna be approaching here. Apparently purple in sector 2. Not sure how correct it is, but it won't matter, as he's gonna be invalidating out of Ascari, and that's gonna be his lap over once again. No lap from Lewis Curtis yet.
Yes, of course, Lewis Curtis was the bottle, needs to, and wants to score some good points this weekend. It's a track, I think it's
and Paco Suarez also, it looks like he was up on his time, but he is invalidated in actually the same spot as Lewis Curtis, exit of Ascari. And doesn't look like anyone else is on the lap. It's just Michael Marlowe and RV who are on their outlaps. RV in front of Michael Marlowe. So everyone pretty much going to be waiting for the end of the qualifying session then. So give it another minute and you'll see everyone out. Just gonna quickly check. Okay, Ross not happy with RV apparently in the stream chat. Says that he messed up his second run. But regardless, so RV is going to be able to start his lap now in the Mercedes, so certainly going to be being helped out down the straights, which there are so many of going through turn 1 now. Want to clip the curbs nicely. Doesn't really get the first curb as much as maybe you should do it. Maybe, of course, he's new to league racing, so it is kind of understandable. It's not going to be as quick as some other people in this league, but you know, you gotta give some room for error as he's going to go through the second chicane as he passes the Red Bull, getting out of the way. That's not Michael Marlowe, I think that was Ross Denholm, as we'll go on board with Michael Marlowe right after. Now going through the second lesbian out of the exit. Doesn't look like the best exit for RVs. He's going to be approaching Ascari now in a few moments. Really got to get the line right here. Got to cut as much as you can without invalidating. Hasn't actually done that too well as he's going to exit Ascari. It's valid anyway, as a few people have invalidated through Ascari, so he hasn't been one of those people. Going through the final corner now, he's currently on a 23.9, so we'll see if he's going to be able to improve much on it as he loses ERS approaching the line. But what can he set now? As a 22.7, improves on his time but does not improve on his position, unfortunately. And well, there you go, Michael Marlowe up to fourth with a 19.5.
Just seeing a lot of drivers though come up towards the start of the lap. We've got a minute and a half left. Minute left of the session. As the clock ticks down below a minute. Who should we run on board with, Cameron? Not Cameron. Kevin.
Well, kind of ironic because I was going to say Cameron Young. He's on a lap, of course, currently on provisional pole position. The Mercedes really didn't get out of the way too well. He had to go off the racing line, Cameron Young, whereas I'm sure he would have rather that the Mercedes did so. But regardless, he's going to be able to continue on. Luckily, he wasn't in the middle of a corner that happened. Otherwise, you would be very annoyed. Certainly up in Sector 2 anyway, almost 2 tenths up. Might be able to get into the 18s here in the McLaren as he exits Ascari. Keeps it valid as he's going to be approaching the final corner now. So can Cameron Young extend his lead at the top of the timing sheets as he exits the final corner? You got to pull over to the right to make sure you can eke out that last few hundredths and thousandths of a second, and he is going to go into the 18s and 18.7 for Cameron Young. A very nice lap there. Ross Denholm doesn't look like he's improving. Looks like he's actually starting a lap, if anything. But he's not going to be able to, so I don't think this is going to be at all an improvement as he goes into the pits. Nino Romanello is a little earlier in the lap. We'll try and find someone later on. Matthew Walder is actually approaching the start-finish straight, the finish line, and he's going to cross the line and go 6th with a 19.6, a small improvement for the one-time FP champion. And yeah, I think it's Nino Romanello left. I don't think anyone else has yet to cross the line. Maybe Vezier as Nino. No, that wasn't Nino. That was actually Adrian Villarreal who improves to P5. So it is all up to Nino now. He's the last one who's going to cross the line. He's currently on a 19.4. So P4 wouldn't even be too bad to begin with. But he's going to exit the final corner, and that might be invalid. He's going to stay off the track. Very interesting tactics, and yeah, he's going to end up invalidating that, so he's not going to be able to improve. Cameron Young, he still has control of his car, I think, but he does have pole position. No one else can contest him for it anymore. So yeah, Cameron Young in the McLaren, I think it's kind of expected. Only one in the 18s as well, and he's your pole sitter today. As he slowly makes his way to pit lane, he can just retire, really. I mean, everyone else is finished, but there we go. He has retired. So there we have it then. Cameron Young, of course, taking pole position ahead of Ross Denholm in second, 4/10 gap between the two. Paco Suarez picking up a P3. Nino Romanello was improving on his time, but invalidated, unfortunately, so he's going to be 4th. Adrian 5th, Michael in 6th, Jared 7th, Matthew Alder in 8th, Lewis 9th, and Rocco Walsh going to round the top 10. Then Vezier, Tim, RV, Joe, and Matt outside of the top 10, 11th through 15th. as the timer went a little bit quickly there, I thought, but there we go. As here we go then, as we set off for the formation lap. Cameron Young, of course, leading the field. Before we start though, Ollie, who do you think will be the top 3 today?
Ooh, my prediction for top 3. So, I think Cameron will end up having issues in the race because he's still getting used to the wheel and he's still adapting to no line. So I reckon he's going to have a spin out of the Ascari chicane. Sorry. So I don't reckon he'll have a good race. On the other hand, Russ Dunelm doesn't have the natural pace as the likes of Nino, Paco, and Sassy Pickle just behind him. So I'm going to go for but Nino's also got 5, so I'm going for a Paco Suarez victory, a Sassy Pickle P2, and a Matthew P3.
Interesting predictions then. For me, I'm going to put my trust in Cameron that he'll take the win. Behind him, I am going to go with Paco. I think... actually, no, I'll go with Nino in second. He seemed to have good pace. Obviously, in the Ferrari, the Ferrari engine isn't going to help. But I think he had enough pace. Looking on his final run, I think he could have at least had it maybe second or third if he was able to set that lap. So I think he was capable of more, so I'm going to put him in second, and for third will be Paco Suarez for me.
Yeah, I really feel like putting my faith in Paco Suarez this race. He needs to have a really good and clean race, of course, with all the penalty points he's racked up recently. I have faith in Paco. He's just got to have a faith in himself. And I think if he can stay at the front and just stay clear of everyone, then he can have a really good race.
As, of course, Cameron Young will be lining up in a few moments, and we'll get underway. We'll kind of know who's settling into what, of course, if there's any early incidents. Here we go then. 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go, and it looks like Ross Denham hasn't had the greatest start. Cameron is going to be leading, at least in turn 1. The Red Bull right up the back of him. Paco Suarez getting under pressure from the AlphaTauri in the background there, as well as they funnel through turn 1. Cameron Young is going to lead out of turn 1. Paco Suarez trying to challenge Ross Denham, but it's not going to be able to work. Cameron Young is going to retain his lead ahead of Ross Denham. The Renault of Paco Suarez still under pressure from Adrian Villarreal here. Adrian might be looking down the inside, as no, they're going to be sensible about it. It's only lap 1, and the top 5 going to stay pretty much as this is. Adrian did actually make up a place on Nino Romanello, but Nino back down the inside. Very bold move there, and he's actually going to make the move work. An amazing move from Nino Romanello to get back up into 4th.
So a little report from the back of the grid. They were full wide going into turn 1. Matthew, Lewis, Rocco, and I believe it was Jared all going full wide into turn 1. Rocco, of course, braking on the grass going into turn 1. He, of course, backed out, and it was 3 wide going for turn 2. And out of nowhere, we saw Michael Marlow into the barrier, coming across the inside curbing of turn 2, I think it was. Ooh, I'll be nearly doing it.
Yeah.
Going across the inside curves of turn 2 and skipping across into them, causing a bit of a collision. And Rocco lost out because of it, but the Alfa Romeos both gaining 2 positions and having a good start.
Yeah, and of course the top 2 certainly having a good start right now. I think Rostano might be challenging Cameron Young into turn 1 here, maybe. I can't actually tell who I'm looking at right now. As there is Cameron Young, people ghosting everywhere, which is just great by the game. Paco Suarez is not P2, he is P3 right now. And Nino still 4th. It's just an amazing game we're having. As they go through Sector 1, I think it should fix itself more or less. As, yeah, there we go. So we'll be able to see where people are, finally. As Lewis Curtis actually lost the position to Jared Fosbury. Is someone made a mistake at the back? I'm not sure.
RV spun.
Ah. And, well, actually now the 2 Mercedes running a 14-15 as second last and last, which obviously they're not teammates, but it's not the best situation for them. In terms of the constructors though, just a little update. Right now Matthew Older will not be able to seal it, purely because Nino is beating him and he needs to outscore Nino and Rocco as a team by 7 points. So not enough at the moment, but certainly ever closer scoring points today.
Is your timing screen still pushed out?
No, mine is okay now.
No, mine's still a little bit buggy. But I was riding. Oh, Cameron's lost it! Cameron's lost it, and Ross is about to go for a move, but he's been really, really squirmy going through the whole middle sector on that last lap, making several mistakes, several lockups. He's really not comfortable in that McLaren.
Yeah, maybe not. Of course, he said that he would be making mistakes, particularly out of Ascari, as you said that would be where his fatal mistake would be for this race. Yeah, maybe he isn't warming up to that McLaren as well as he would like at the moment. Nino Romanello in the background, though, he's right on the back of Paco Suarez. Paco has lost DRS at the moment, or almost lost at least. I think he's just on the cusp of it. Yeah, 9/10 back from Ross Denham there as Ross Denham closes up, almost hits him actually, I think. Getting very close to the back of Cameron Young. Ends up giving him a pretty bad exit, which means Paco Suarez will be able to keep in the DRS much easier. Is Michael Morrill in the background for some reason out? Yeah, I think he's actually crashed on his own there. We'll get a quick view from RV. Yeah, I think he's just crashed into the wall on his own. Certainly possible to do with Ascari. Rear is always a little loose going through there. As in the background here, Adrian Villarreal is trying it down the inside of Nino Romanello again, but he's not going to be able to do it. Of course, these two have swapped positions a few times this race, as Adrian did get ahead initially, then Nino took it back going through, what is turn 5 or 6, I think it is. I think it's turn 6, and then of course it's been like that since, but Adrian's still not giving up though, still trying to make the move once again for this P4. And
Ross is off, Ross is off.
Yeah, Ross actually up onto the gravel a little bit there, and it's going to put him a little bit vulnerable now to the back of Paco Suarez. It also gives Cameron Young a bit of breathing room out in front, 1.6 seconds now, so he'll be able to maybe get away a bit more and let everyone else fight. As yeah, Joe is also spun in the background there as well, as Arvy's going to be able to go through. Luckily for Joe, he hasn't actually crashed out completely, as they funnel through the leaders anyway, funnel through Ascari. Also be seeing if Ross Denham's going to get overtaken anytime soon, as you can see Cameron does have visually quite a large gap in first, leading this race from start to finish at the moment anyway. Didn't get up to overtaken yet, as Paco Suarez now trying to pick up this P2, as of course you put Paco Suarez to win this race. He's certainly doing what he has to as he closes up to Ross Denham. He might go down the inside here. He's going to have a look at it. He's going to try and scare Ross Denham into leaving a bit of space, and he does so, as he's going to be on the back of him now, right on the back of the Red Bull. He's going to be using a bit of ERS as well on the outside of the Red Bull, round the outside for Paco Suarez, side by side between the two, as Paco Suarez is going to have the inside for the next corner. He's going to have to brake late if he wants this move, and actually round Paco Suarez, and Nino Romanello is going to pick up a bit of damage as well. Adrian Villarreal is going to pick up some damage.
Jared's gone as
There's
well.
Jared Fosbury around the McLaren picking up some damage, I think, as well there. A massive incident and huge implications for other drivers. The virtual safety car is out. Did you get a better view on that, Ollie?
Nino's got damage.
Yeah, Nino, did you get a better view on that? Of course, I had the
I was riding on
off-board.
board with I was riding on board a Paco into there, and it just seems like Ross made a wiggle and just completely closed the door. Of course, he's got to turn at some point, but there was just no general respect there, and there was no space for either of them. 2 into 1 didn't go. You can go side by side through that corner, but it just seemed a bit of a irrational defending there, and maybe that's a lack of experience, you know, as old Conor McDonald would say, you know, but there was definitely someone to blame for that incident. As you see, Ross and Cameron peel into the pits.
Yeah.
I believe he'll be going for hard on the tyres.
Yeah, Cameron actually is... Well, actually, of course, VSC is going to be why they're in on-go the hard tyres. It's usually a soft medium, so it's going to be interesting to see how the strategies work out, with people staying out. Paco Suarez, interestingly, staying out with that wing damage. Maybe the wing damage isn't enough for him to think that he should pit. Lewis Curtis also staying out with wing damage as well. The racing point behind the first one without damage, Sylvain Vezier, who should be able to close up pretty easily to the top two. Rocco Walsh also without damage in the Williams. So the top two, I think, are going to get caught pretty quickly here, Ollie.
I think it may be the better decision for these guys to stay out a little bit longer and hope for another safety car, or, well, especially in Lewis's case, who just picked up the free second time penalty. In Lewis's case, who doesn't have wing damage, that they didn't gain anything from that VSC, so they've committed to their hard really early on in the race, whereas a medium would be much quicker later on in the race. However, Lewis doesn't have the DRS, which is something that is very critical. Does Lewis have DRS? Damage, sorry?
Yeah, Lewis does. Lewis Curtis has damage along with Paco Suarez.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame to his race.
As you can see, his left end plate there completely gone, pretty much. As Sylvain Vezier is going to close up to the back of him, you can see the exit there. The mediums started on the mediums compared to Lewis's softs, and Lewis now into the pit lane. Paco also into the pit lane. A lap after the virtual safety car, on go the hards as well. As Cameron is going to retake the net lead of this race. So his race going pretty much to plan at the moment, as the gap behind him, 3.5 seconds now pretty much.
All that fighting there of Ross has really helped him out though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. Of course, maybe Ross due for a penalty later on. Of course, we'll see. From your view, maybe you thought he turned in. Maybe with more onboards, we'll get a better picture. But at the moment, of course, Ross Denham is running a pretty comfortable P2, or net P2 at least, compared to the rest who had to pit for the wing damage. Looking through it, Matthew Walder on the back of Jared Fosbury, maybe going to be making a move soon. That McLaren with the Renault power, of course, certainly much better than the Ferrari in the back of Matthew Walder's Alfa Romeo. But maybe a move going to be happening there soon. That is actually something I noticed. It's interesting that Jared went for the mediums. I mean, he'll be quicker at the moment. They'll probably make it, but I mean, they're going to be dead at the end.
No, they won't make it. They won't make it.
I mean, it's
the mediums only just about make it from lap 10.
Okay, well, maybe they won't make it then. Maybe he's trying a two-stop. I guess it remains to be seen. I thought pit lap would have been like lap 8, so I thought maybe it would just about be okay, but maybe not. Of course, I haven't done Italy in a while, so.
Yeah, very touching to go there for the Jared, I think. He'll be very close to punch territory towards the end of the race. But it's a gamble I think he has to take. He's helping Matthew out a lot though with that, because he's in the quicker McLaren with the Renault power, allowing Matthew just to sit behind, save his ERS, you know, let Jared do the hard work and use his more efficient and more stronger straight line speed to pull Matthew along.
Someone else who's pulling someone along, certainly Sylvain Vezier leading the race. He's on certainly where at least you would expect better mediums. There's a bit of a crash in the background, I think. Is Adrian involved in that as well? No. I was the wrong Red Bull, maybe.
Safety car.
Yeah, full safety car. And it's actually perfectly timed for Rocco and Sylvain Vezier to come into the pits here. Sylvain will be having to put on the hard tyres though, I think, if he wants to go to the end. But it is very perfectly timed. As Cameron will retake his lead, but of course, well, Rocco really going to be benefiting the most from this because he can put on a set of mediums. Sylvain Vezier put on a set of mediums as well, but he won't be able to go to the end on those. He put 2 sets of mediums on. Yeah. So Sylvain Vezier due for another stop. Rocco Walsh going to the end. He's of course on mediums, so it's perfect for him. Matthew Walder is out also pitting. Matt Romano into the pit, so they're all going to be putting on mediums and going to the end of this race. As in goes Lewis Curtis to put on a fresh set of mediums. So it's really going to be like the top guys, obviously staying out on the hards, and then as you go on the grid, you'll see more and more medium runners who are going to be able to cut their way through the field a little bit easier. And of course, they'll be able to do it. Their tyres will make it.
Yeah, but Vettel's made a real mistake here. He could have gone to the hards and could have had P4. Or if he really wanted to go back on the mediums, he could have pitted for the softs, do a lap, and then go back in onto the other set of mediums. He's just gone the worst possible option here, I think.
Yeah, he really has. I don't know why he decided the mediums. Obviously, if you start on softs, that is a no-brainer. I mean, Rocco did it, but when you start on mediums, he has to pit again. He's going to get disqualified otherwise. Like, there's no doubt about it. So, like, yeah, it's an interesting decision.
Important to note that Matt Romano's gone on a fresh set of softs. So he's the only one in the pack on the soft command tyres at the minute. But surely, what's he got in mind for a strategy, do you reckon?
Yeah, actually, well, you said he wanted to maybe go out and back in.
Oh, yeah, that's what he is doing.
So I guess your theory wasn't wrong, although maybe a theory that you wouldn't think you would have actually done. Why? Oh, well. I mean, well, obviously, but he could have done that last lap. Okay then. He just kind of wasted a P4, really. But yeah. I mean, at this point, you may as well put back onto the mediums.
Yeah. So someone who has lost out here slightly is Matthew Walder. He could have stayed out on the softs like Lewis Curtis and Rocco did for another few more laps. And then he could have pitted onto the fresh set and mediums and he would have been with Rocco Walsh up in P4.
That is true, actually. Yeah, there's some people who pit on the hards, certainly. If they didn't, it would have helped them out. I mean, even Cameron Young, really. He could be on the mediums right now if he didn't pit initially, because he would have had the gap to do so. I mean, the case goes with pretty much anyone on hards, to be fair. They all could have went a bit longer. But safety car in this lap anyway. So, of course, it's going to be up to Cameron Young when he decides he wants to go. That's when they will go. And, of course, no overtaking until he crosses the line.
I just saw in real life in Portimao, you have the best advantage of being either first or third at the start of the safety car. Like Max Verstappen jumping Lewis Hamilton, if you have the advantage of being third, you can see when their leader has gone, and you can predict when he will make the jump, and it also gives you time to back out. So, don't be surprised if we see little Romanino being very, very wise about how he starts this race. He, of course, has got to outside line so he can get a sprint, but he's got to predict when Cameron is going to go. And that's how you get the best starts on a safety car restart. So just going on board with him now, keep in line, and he's gone.
Yeah,
Rocco
off goes
he's
Cameron Young,
Rocco's onside
and Ross Denham has actually got a pretty good restart as Adrian Villarreal in the background, almost 3 wide between Nino, Adrian and Rocco Walsh there.
Whoa.
Rocco in the Williams, of course he's got those medium tyres on as well. He's trying to make up some places. As deep, Ross Denholm has gone very deep into the first chicane. He's going to lose out to Nino Romanello, so Nino's going to be going up into P2. Ross Denholm is going to retain P3 at least, but Adrian Villarreal right on the back of him. I don't think he's going to be making a move into this corner. Well, yeah, not so soon, but yeah, at the moment Nino Romanello did actually get that start that you were talking about, and I mean, kind of helped by Ross Denholm, but certainly up into P2 now, and actually Welsh 1-2 at the moment as well.
Sheepshaggers United, of course, next season is what they will be called in FP, rumours I've heard. The boss has used already 60% of his battery just off the safety car restart. That is way too much.
Yeah, it really is. Maybe trying to make up for lost ground in turn 1. Of course, it was quite the mistake, as he is right up the back of him, but he's lost his ERS completely. So he's not going to be getting anywhere near a good exit out of the final chicane compared to Nino Romanello, who can use that ERS. And of course, he wouldn't be going up the speed, I guess I'll say, until he crosses the line. So he's going to look down the inside, have a little look, but to no avail, and he's going to have to stick behind Nino Romanello for a little bit longer. And well, as added that he has used so much ERS, he's probably not going to be able to make this move, and if anything, he's going to have to defend from Adrian.
Something you have to remember with Mr. Romanino is that he is an experienced F1 driver. He has been racing against the best of the best for many years, so he knows how to defend. And Ross has to make sure that his move is defined.
Oh, in the background, I have to say, Adrian is trying to fend off Matthew Alder, of course, the championship winner from last week. He's right up the back of him, Matthew Alder, on the mediums as well, so that's really the main reason that this move is being able to be made. Adrian is going to fend him off for now, but for how much longer those through Ascari, I think we're going to see a lot more grip from the Alfa Romeo. As you can see, Adrian not so good through Ascari, so those mediums really working for Matthew Alder, and certainly Rocco Walsh only just behind him as well. I think those two will be cutting through the field a little bit. Maybe give it a few more laps until the mediums are really warmed up.
What's happened to Ross is really off the back of Nino. Nino's more in the
Ross Denholm is, I'm sorry, Ross Denholm is defending from Adrian Villarreal. Ross has actually moved in the straight. He kind of tapped him out of the way a little bit on the straight before the braking zone as well. Adrian's gonna have to stick behind. I'm fairly sure the reason for that is because of that little tap. Visually, it looked like he went left into the AlphaTauri, and well, almost kind of hit him into the wall. But yeah,
because he was alongside and Ross pushed him into the grass.
And now he's actually susceptible to Matthew Walder as well. He's gonna have to fend once again into the same corner as last lap. He's gonna be able to do it, but for how much longer now? Is Matthew Walder right up the back of him? He's going to get pretty much an equal exit, opening up the DRS. Adrian's going to do the same, going through Ascari. I don't think any move's going to be happening here. You really need to be ahead by quite a bit going through Ascari to be making any kind of move. And yeah, they're going to stick as they were. So I think we're going to have to wait till the start finish straight to see any moves for P4 anyway. But yeah, Ross, I mean, he was getting overtaken. It looked like he gave him a nudge. If he did or not, like maybe that was just a bit of lag or maybe desync or something, but it certainly looked like it anyway. And now Ross Denholm's actually trying to make a move on Nino Romanello to no avail, but he did try it in turn 1.
I don't know if it's Romanino that's making a mistake again, but he's just fallen out of Cameron's DRS. Maybe that's just a lack of pace in the Ferrari. But he's certainly a very good buffer for Cameron Young. Oh, Sasha Pickle picked up a 3-second time penalty. That's his first one. Speaking of penalties, let's have a little look at the penalties. Ross Denham's got 8 seconds worth of penalties, with Cameron also with 6. There's Romanino picking up 3.
So at the moment, then it's actually looking like Massey Walder, maybe. Well, I mean, kind of most likely to win, unless he gets a penalty himself. Because if he can make an overtake soon enough on Adrian, I think he'll find himself fighting for the top 3 positions with those mediums. Yeah, like they're the quicker tire, so I think he's going to be able to do it fairly easily, especially with his skill and experience. So yeah, as long as he can make the move first, that's what he has to do first, is opening up the DRS. Adrian Villarreal does not have any DRS on anyone in front of him, so it's going to allow Matthew Walder to close up. Going through turn 1 now, if he can get a good exit, is actually a little bad entry for Adrian, as he loses the car slightly, as Matthew Walder is going to be on the back of him. He's using the ERS, he is going to be trying to make this move, or maybe not, as actually he thinks better of it. He stops using the ERS and he's going to stick behind. As actually a little tap, Matthew Walder giving Adrian Villarreal is right at the gearbox of the AlphaTauri driver once again, but he's not going to be able to make any moves. But I mean, certainly I think the move is going to be happening very soon.
Wilson's now got 11 seconds left of time penalties. Of course, he's been very well known for picking up time penalties. Of course, in Brazil, nearly gets disqualified.
Yeah, he did actually.
Or Austria. Yeah, Brazil. I'm not sure it's nearly disqualified.
No, I think that was Brazil that he. Yeah, it was Brazil that he dropped that many places.
He's got a good run here. Surely he's going to get him here.
Yeah, Rossenum on the back of the Ferrari. He's going to go to the inside, and he's going to be able to complete the move pretty easily, going into turn 1 now ahead of Nino Romanello. And in the background actually as well, Matthew Walder making the move for P4 on Adrian Villarreal.
That took a while for him to get that move done. Oh, yellow flag.
That is RV.
RV. Oh, he's lost again. Matthew Ward is only 1,000th outside the DRS there. Oh, he's got it now. He's got a good run. I can see this battle.
Yeah, someone else with a good run though. I think Nino Romanello might be able to come back at Rossenomir as he exits the final corner. He's going to have DRS in activation as well in a few moments, just after they cross the line. But actually, I think Rossenom's using a bit of DRS, as he, well, certainly he's used a good amount of it, similar to Nino Romanello. But yeah, it looks like the Red Bull actually just has that much more straight line speed, and he's going to be able to stay ahead.
I think Matthew Walder's plan of action now is just to sit behind Nino, make sure he doesn't lose DRS, and save up that ERS package, because he's going to need a lot of it to overtake that Red Bull. It really takes quite a lot to overcome that Red Bull. Of course, that is one of Matthew's strengths recently, is being able to save up a lot of ERS and just not being able to deploy it really. That's something where he's so much better than the competitors he has, and that's something that he's going to be taking to much higher levels, such as esports, in the future. And it's really just a training ground for him, just getting better by better every single race, you know, picking up, learning new things as you can. Maybe picking up a one in there, but surely Nino's going to be wanting to get past Ross before Matthew gets past Nino. So it's a very tight one here, but we may see a free wide moment about to come up.
Yeah, quite possibly Nino Romanello. It looks like he's using ERS. He's opened up his DRS flap as well. He's going to be closing on the Red Bull, but he's not going to be able to close up enough as he Breaking through turn 1, he closes up a little bit more to the Red Bull, but it's not going to be enough. Maybe going through into turn 4, he might be able to make a move if he uses enough ERS. I'm sure he'll be able to do it as he goes through the flat turn 3, approaching turn 4. It's going to take a late break from Nino Raminello to be able to make a move here, as he's going to stick behind once again and get ever closer to the back of that Red Bull. Of course, the Ferrari engine really not doing him any favours.
2019 Monza, of course, was a really bad race for real life Ferrari fans. However, sort of 2019-2020, with Charles Leclerc ending up in the Barrier and Sebastian Vettel with a great failure, of course. They're not doing too bad today. At the moment, they're in P3 with Tim in P11 outside the point, so he will be having a disappointing race with Sanders as Nick picks up another 3-second time penalty, allowing Cameron to have that buffer over Nino. Surely given Matthew a much better chance of this race victory.
Yeah, you would expect that anyway. Of course, by the end of this race, the hards and mediums will be at least kind of similar, as the mediums will come to the end of their lifespan. But at the moment, I think they should still be even a little bit quicker. At least there's only 9 laps old on those medium tires. But right now, Matthew not looking like he can really. Excuse me, it's not really looking like he can make many moves. Someone who is making moves, like Jared Fosbury on Rocco Walsh, and he's up into P6. Pretty easy move, it seems, going through turn 1. This looks like he was ahead going through turn 1 and turn 2. But can Rocco Walsh come back at it maybe? Of course, Mercedes engine in that Williams. No, he's going to have to stick behind and wait for another opportunity later on.
Someone who's had a bit of a quieter race though is Lewis Curtis. He hasn't really been doing much. He's just kind of been sitting behind the likes of Black Phoenix and IRL Neon. I don't know what he hopes to get out of this race. Oh, Jared picks up a physical penalty. So did Bavessia in P10. Yeah, quite a lot more penalties than expected from us this race, Kevin.
Yes, obviously we've seen so many right now. There's still 7 laps left. Leading right now, of course, Cameron Young now has extended his gap to 4.3 seconds. Just a quick check of the penalties. 6 seconds for the race leader and 5.5 seconds behind Matthew Walder. So at this point, Matthew Walder will be able to take the win on penalties at least. As contact, I'm not sure where that was. I assume maybe in the train for 6.
Paco tried to go around the outside. There's a bit of contact on the braking, but Paco's
still going to try it down the inside once again of Lewis Curtis. Hards versus mediums. Renault versus the Alfa Romeo. Side by side between the two. And around the outside, a nice clean move by Paco Suarez to put him up into P8.
That's how you make that move, Paco. I think he's learned his lesson from last time trying to make the overtake from the centre on there. Paco, of course, now to take down Black Phoenix and Iron Neon. Just 8 times up the road, but surely in that much more superior Renault he'll be able to catch him up very quickly. And you see Rocco gets a poor exit out of the corner, so he catches 3 tenths on him through that one section alone. But Lewis is still in his gearbox, still ready to pounce.
He certainly is, and someone else who will certainly be ready to pounce is Nino Raminello. Of course, he's been following the back of that Red Bull for quite some time. The Ferrari engine certainly not something that's going to be helping him out as he closes up once again, going through turn 1. And actually, this might be an opportunity here as Ross has gone deep. The Ferrari is going to be right up the back of him, but a small correction from Nino Raminello might mean that he's not going to catch him enough as RV has spun around a little further up in the Mercedes, but an opportunity for Nino Raminello. I guess the Ferrari engine certainly not helping him out either, but I think he slightly lost it going out of the first chicane, which certainly didn't help his chances.
I think that's one of his opportunities, but he didn't pounce on it, so something he has been doing is saving his race very well. Ross, of course, is on 40%, Nino's on 70%. So he needs to make Ross burn some more to make the overtake a lot easier and so he can pull away.
Yeah, it's certainly. I think he's probably trying. Of course, he's been following him for a while. Maybe hoping that eventually the move just kind of comes to him. Of course, they still have 7 laps left. Well, actually, no, it's 6 laps left now, as they start lap 22. The Ferrari's still following the back. Just checking the fights down a little more. Jared Foster, actually no, that's not Jared Foster, that's Paco Suarez on the inside of Rocco Walsh. Jared Foster made the move a few laps ago. Paco Suarez is going to follow suit down the inside, and he's going to be able to make it up into P7 in the background as well, side by side. Lewis Curtis trying to fend off Sylvain Vezier, and he's going to be able to just about do it. But of course, well, it's also hards versus mediums, so... Yeah, down the inside once again. Paco Suarez just made a move on Lewis Curtis, and now he's going to make another move on Jared Fosbury, his F2 teammate as well, up into P6. So plenty of moves, plenty of action Paco Suarez is giving us, and well, I think he's going to be able to pull away a little bit now, as he looks the quickest driver in this train.
Paco, of course, on a cover drive after having that collision with Ross earlier on in the race, causing a virtual safety car. Oh, Sizer Pickle picks up another penalty. That's not what he wants to see. 5 laps left.
Yeah, and actually just now, just to make sure, 6 seconds, yep, Matthew Walder has just lost the gap that he needs to win this race. 6.1 seconds between himself and Cameron Young. Of course, Cameron with 6 seconds of penalties. That will mean that at the moment, Cameron Young is going to retain the race win. Only by tenths though, so you never know what Matthew can do. Matthew is very skilled, and never underestimate him.
Ross deep again. Ross has gone deep again, and that's left him vulnerable. Will Nino choose to pounce this time? He's not deploying his battery. If he wants to get this overtake down, he's got to go all in one go.
Yeah, maybe he's thinking to do it later on though. At the same time, if you think about it, if he did make the move, now he's ahead with a Ferrari engine compared to that Honda engine, and that Honda's going to win that battle every day of the week. So I think maybe he's thinking just make it right at the end of the Grand Prix. Maybe that's why he's not making the move. Maybe the move is easier than he's making it out to be, and he's just biding his time until until the move is possible.
Ross has got
As Ross then gets another penalty.
Seconds. He's got 14 seconds worth of penalties as Ross. Where's that going to put him? That's going to put him... That might put him out of the points.
14...
Yeah, put him in the lower end of the points.
Yeah, lower end. I don't think he'll go out of the points, but lower end for sure.
Yeah, just looked at Pavesio. He wouldn't get past Pavesio, I don't think, at this rate.
Yeah, might actually be part of the reason. Of course, Nino, if he stays in the position he's in, he knows that he's going to get third, and I think he also is smart enough to know that there's no beating Matthew Walder today. Of course, he's behind him with no penalties. It's up 24 out of 27. Even if Matthew got a penalty now, it wouldn't matter. So I think in Nino's case, maybe it's better for him to just stick behind and keep the DRS, to just give him a bit of a buffer to Adrian Villarreal, because Adrian is his closest competition for this P3, so I think that's more what he's thinking about. Maybe he's not actually planning the move at all.
Well, Nino doesn't have to make a move, but he'll want to get the movement on track. He'll want to have the pride of overtaking Ross, if there is any pride in doing that. But Ross has gone deep. He's picking up a lot of pressure. Ross has gone wide again for Ascari. He's unsettled the car. Oh, surely it's going to be this lap.
He's on the back of the Red Bull, but I don't think he actually wants to make this move, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's kind of backed out of it.
He does.
I'm not so sure, Ollie. He's going to be following. He's going to open up the DRS. Is actually no. I think he is going to try and make it now down the inside, opening up that DRS, and certainly Ross is going to be vulnerable to Matthew Walder as well.
Matthew Walder's coming. Matthew Walder's coming.
Matthew Walder going to be on the back of the Red Bull, but he's not going to be able to make a move. There's a little bit of contact between himself and Ross, and Ross is going to have a little bit bad of a little worse of an exit compared to Matthew Walder, I should say. Nino Romano has got a bit of a gap now, so maybe he did He was waiting for the right time to make that move, and I think now was the time to make it. Lap 25 out of 27. Give Ross a little bit of pressure from behind with Matthew Alder to try and help him maybe get away from the Red Bull. Of course, I'm sure he's using his ERS now, as you can see, now down to about 50%. So yeah, I think he is going to try and pull away from the Red Bull now for the last few laps.
I just noticed that Paco hasn't really pulled away from Jared, has he? Still staying with that little margin of people. So all that overtaking he's done at this rate is only going to give him a P8. Ooh, Lewis nearly having a little moment there. Just going for a scurry.
As the top guys stay pretty much the same. Well, if I'm Matthew Alder, I mean, personally, I wouldn't really see much point in a move, because he doesn't have to make it to get second. Like, he's going to get second no matter what. Getting first, he has to catch now a second to Cameron Young, and with the Alfa Romeo, especially being the second last lap of the Grand Prix, the hards versus the mediums, they're going to be equal, or the hards are going to have the advantage at this point. So, I really don't think there's much point in trying to go for anything. It's 3-second penalty for Matthew Alder as well.
Matthew. Having that.
So now that might give him something to think about. Certainly if Cameron Young has been told about his penalty, he can relax now. There's no one really to contest his win now. Matthew Alder needs to be within 3 seconds, and he's 7 seconds away. So 4 seconds in one lap isn't really possible, realistically, unless Cameron made a mistake. So I think Cameron is going to be able to cruise to a win for the last lap, as long as he makes no more mistakes. Nino is going to be able to pretty much cruise to what is at the moment a P3.
Oh, he's going to get him. He's coming. Come on, Nino, defend. He picks the inside line, giving the Ross the outside line. He changes his mind. He's going to make Ross send it. Ross has got a worse line out of turn 2. He doesn't like taking the inside curb at turn 1, does he? But he's coming back at him, and I think that might be game, set and match.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's many more opportunities. Of course, going into a Ascari would be probably well, even equal, because making a move in Ascari isn't all that easy. So there's realistically 2 more overtaking opportunities, and they're the kind of less favoured ones on the track, in a way. Of course, one of them not giving you DRS, the other one giving you a Ascari at the end of the straight. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, as Cameron Young is going to be exiting Ascari. He's done everything right today. Of course, he's led pretty much every single lap of this race. Certainly, he's led every lap in the net lead. The safety car didn't phase him. The virtual safety car, he pit under that didn't phase him. Round the final corner for Cameron Young, he's going to be able to cross the line, and he is going to take the win here in Italy. In the background, that's Nino Armanello, the second Welshman. He's going to cross the line for Welsh 1-2, but he's going to lose out. Matthew Alder is going to take that P2. Nino Armanello in third. Adrian going to pick up that P4. Ross at the moment in fifth. Is he going to lose out to anyone else? Paco Suarez is going to beat him up into, well, Ross down to 8th now. And that is going to be 9th even, because Rocco Walsh is going to gain from penalties. So, well, yeah, that's a lot of pens anyway. But yeah, your winner, Cameron Young. Second, well, the second repeat winner. Of course, Matthew Alder doing it, becoming the first one to do it last week, and Cameron Young taking his second win of the season today. Oh, my bad.
Oh, there we go.
Cameron Young is not actually taking a win this season. I could have swore he did, but no. So it's actually his first one, never mind. Matthew Alder remains the only repeat winner, and of course, there's only one more round to change that. So, first win of the season for Cameron Young, as he's going to be able to spray the champagne as he lifts the trophy. Really did everything right today. Was pretty much unfazed. Had one mistake, I think, but in the end, no one really came close, and he is your winner today. Matthew Walder in second and Nino in third. As there we go then, of course, Cameron Young taking the win, Matthew Walder, Nino rounding out the podium, Adrian Villarreal in fourth, Jared Fosbury fifth, Lewis Curtis in sixth, Rocco Walsh gaining on some pens, one of the only ones without pens, along with Romano, of course, who is down in 12th, Paco Suarez dropping to 8th on pens, Ross Denham dropping down to 9th, and Sylvain Vezier taking the final point, Tim Brusalens in 11th, Matt Romano in 12th. That is RV in 13th, and then Joe and Michael Marlowe, your two DNFs today. So Cameron, Matthew and Nino. So we'll just wait for them to join. Well, they're not exactly joining. Oh, there's Cameron. And there's Matthew. And there's Nino. So just need their mics to load in, because of course it takes an age for me. Okay, well, we'll get started then. We'll start with you, Cameron, obviously taking the win. not really much to say about your race. In the end, it was kind of quiet at the front, and then with Matthew getting that late penalty, kind of gave you a bit of a breather that you kind of maybe knew that you had to win at that point. But how was your race for you? Of course, a few safety cars maybe putting a spanner in the works early on.
The race was good. I mean, I picked the first safety car, and then maybe I should have picked the second safety car, but in the end, not pitting turned out to be the right call. I got 2 pens very early on. That was, that was very frustrating. I didn't worry because of Matthew on fresh mediums, obviously, even though in Alpha is Matthew, so could have, well, if he got past Nino and Ross, he probably could have challenged me, but yeah, other than that, I eventually got the gap up to around like 5.7 each lap, and I was sort of just looking at saving the RS then, just going to go for a big lap, and yeah, well, in the end, him getting a pen, just, as you said, eased the pressure off me, so I could just take it easy.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, not really all that much to talk about. I think there was actually one mistake that you had that put Ross a little close to you. Were you worried about that, or do you remember that, or did you have it under control?
I don't really remember it, but from the start, I know Ross likes to burn his ERS, just like France, a couple of runs ago, he just burnt all of his ERS, so I know he likes to burn it quite a bit, so, I mean, I was just looking to wait until he eventually either made a mistake or until he burns it all out, and then I can just push, so I can't really remember the mistake I made to bring Ross in, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll finish up then next week. Bahrain, taking a win, it's always going to move you down a few cars, but how do you think you can do in Bahrain?
Not good at all. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't spin around Monza, so yeah, definitely going to spin around Bahrain. No pad traction OP anymore, so yeah, I mean, hopefully points, but yeah, I'm not looking for anything other than points.
Well then, congratulations on the win anyway, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
And Ollie, if you want to take Matthew. By the way, Matthew,
Matthew
took the constructors, just to say. Sealed it today.
Yep, I know. Hello, Matthew.
Hello.
Hello, congratulations on your P2 today, my good friend. How was that for you, and how was it dealing with the tractor in the back of your car? Did you feel as though it hampered you? And tell us about a general walkthrough of your race.
Well, I mean, the car's straight line speed was terrible. I mean, Sassy Pickle rail was running out of ERS, and I was still the same pace down the straight until I used my own. But yeah, I mean, I've kind of had to do this since I won in Russia, so I'm used to it now to drag the slow cars, and not generally it's the Williams, but I had a really awful straight line speed car today, but I still got P2 with it and had a nice strategy. So.
Well, fair enough. Like I just briefly mentioned, you are both the drivers and constructors champion. Returning next season, I think the next game shall be the next season. Who do you have in mind to be a teammate, and will you be going for a more dominant title?
It'll probably just be Sondre again, and I didn't hear what you said at the end.
Will you be going for a more dominant title? Would you like
Still
to win?
can't hear you.
Would you like to go for a more dominant title? Would you like to see yourself improving? And would you like to set yourself a target for how many points you'd like to win by?
No, I mean, not really, but I mean, I won this one quite dominantly, especially given that I had the slowest car a lot, so I don't really have an aim for next season. I don't think it's really there's many more points on the table this season anyway to be more dominant, so probably just like to win by a similar amount again.
Oh, fair enough. Anyway, well done. Yeah, there was a fair bit of conflicts going on today with a few crashes and virtual safety cars. What drew you into pitting early on for those hards on lap 5 during the VSC?
Well, I didn't really understand that question.
What drew you into pitting early under the VSC
I had
on
a
lap
lot of
up?
wing damage.
Oh, I didn't see you the wing damage. I'm going to say, because surely, because I would have thought you would have stayed out a bit longer if you didn't have any wing damage, but I didn't see that happening. So how did you get your wing damage? How did it catch you out?
Well, when Paco spun, I crashed into the back of Sassy Pickle, I think. I crashed into the back of someone, and then I picked up half, like a orange front wing, and then Lewis piled into the back of me, and then I hit Jared, so I got the other half of my wing broken. So, yeah, I mean, it didn't really get caught out. It's just when someone hits something, they basically just stop. So yeah, I really couldn't do much about it.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those unlucky moments. And Kevin, do you want to add anything?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything.
Alright. Sorry about that. And do you want to take over, Nino?
Yeah, well, I guess we'll go with Nino then. Of course, third today. Ollie was mentioning maybe a bit of a rumour that yourself and Cameron would be teammates next season. Of course, a double wash podium today, so if that is the
Sheep
case...
Shagger Racing.
Yeah.
Shagger Racing.
Yeah.
Has it changed from United?
Sheep Shagger Racing. Sheep Shaggy United.
It's all the same, doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter.
The point is it has sheep shagger in it.
We're coming for
anyway, I
that
guess.
championship.
Anyway, though, obviously taking a P3 here today, I don't think it, or at least it didn't look like an easy one. The Ferrari engine holding you back a bit. Maybe you wanted to make that move on Ross a little earlier. But talk us through your race. How did it go?
My start was quite dreadful, to be honest. Lost place to Sassy, managed to get it back in the first Lesmo. Good move, and just sat behind Paco and Ross. Couldn't really do anything, to be honest, with that absolute dreadful engine at the back of the car. But then when the collision happened in front, wing damage, which is unfortunate, so that's why I pitted under the first VSC, and from then on I just tried to just race my own race, to be honest. And when the second safety car came out, I just didn't pit because I knew I wouldn't be able to overtake anyone with that engine. Then from there I knew Ross had a couple of penalties, but I did want to get past, but the engine just wouldn't allow me, but finally got past, and just coasted to P3 from there.
Yeah, was just a question there, like, was the plan always to get ahead of Ross and try and get a gap, or were you thinking that just stick behind him, keep the DRS, and like have that buffer of Matthew Oler behind you? Because of course Adrian was there, and if he passed you, you would have lost the podium. But was there thinking of that, or were you focused on getting past Ross?
I knew at first when he only had 11 seconds of pens, I knew he had a 5 seconds he could get removed. So I was actually battling him for position, but as I said, the engine just delayed the move a little bit. Sassy Pickle, luckily for me, picked up another penalty near the end of the race, which so I didn't have to push as hard as I was going to when I got past Ross. So that was quite nice, and I knew Matthew wasn't going to get 6 seconds of pen, so I always knew he was going to jump me.
Okay, well, I guess that's it then. Overall, though, very successful race in the circumstances. Ferrari engine at Italy as well, taking a podium. Certainly a nice little kind of thing that way as well. For next week, Bahrain, of course you've had experience fighting for the win there before. Do you think
Yep.
maybe you could go for another podium next week, or do you think you'll be a bit more off it?
I think it's going to be a struggle next week because I don't think I'll be in a great car. So I mean, anything can happen, but yeah, I think it'll be a bit more difficult this week, next week. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, I'll try my best and see what I can do.
Oh, congratulations on the P3 then. Good luck for next week.
Thanks. Thank you.
And that will be it for IRL FP here in Italy then. Of course, that was me and myself and Ollie Favell. I'm not sure if Ollie will be joining me for the last round. Maybe he'll get his wheel fixed by then, maybe not, but I guess we'll see. If not, then you'll certainly see him here though. So yeah, that has been IRL FP. I hope you enjoyed, and be sure to join us next week, and certainly this weekend as well. Not the end of Monza, certainly more overtakes happen. So thanks for watching, and good night.